Time to look ahead to the third and final T20I of this bilateral series between India and the West Indies. India already taking the first two games courtesy back-to-back wins in Florida. The Windies will be happy to be back in familiar conditions, in home conditions in Guyana. And let's hear Deep Dasgupta's views on this final game. Right, Deep, let's start from the West Indian perspective and all this talk of the force that they are and how much they enjoy the shortest format. They are still the reigning 2020 champions in the world, but another series loss. And as we look at the numbers for the West Indies in the shortest format, their win percentage is second only to Zimbabwe, amongst the poorest in international cricket amongst the full member teams. So what ails the West Indies team, whose bowling, you said, is look sharp in the first two games, but they're not quite the force that they used to be in 2020?
No, they still are. They still are. It's just that, listen, someone like Andre Russell will get in, hopefully. Even if he doesn't, the surfaces that the last two T20s were played on really didn't suit their kind of batting, because we've got to remember this West Indies side has been predominantly batting heavy. They depend heavily on their power hitters. So a surface like we've seen the last two games at Florida doesn't really help their kind of batting. So once they're back in the Caribbean and play in their usual surfaces where, it's 180, 200 pitch, you'll see them bouncing back, that's for sure.
Okay, and what about the Indian perspective now? And a T20 series with one from the first two, you tend to think that things are going well, you don't need to make too many changes. But if we are to at least beg the question and see whether India could still look at changing personnel, KL Rahul was someone we thought might feel hard done by not making the 11 in the first place. And as we compare Rahul's numbers to the likes of Rishabh Pant and Manish Pandey, who you think he'd be competing against now, if you are to look at Rahul as an extra batsman and not as a reserve opener, is there a case for KL Rahul to play even if Shikhar and Rohit both do?
I think it was very important to win the series before the third T20, because now I believe they can make those changes. For all, I would suggest you kind of rest both Rohit and Virat and play KL Rahul, you play Iyer, because you aren't going to play too many T20 internationals in the next year or so. So whatever opportunities you get, you've got to make use of them. So here is this opportunity you've got with the series already in the bag. It's a great opportunity to try Iyer at 3 and KL Rahul to open and maybe a few more changes if you look at it. And this, like I said, you've got to take your chances.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting point you make. Now that the series is wrapped, you might as well test the rest of the squad. Would that also merit a case to play a Rahul Chair and Deepak Chair for you and rest maybe a Bhuvneshwar Kumar or somebody else? Just give everybody a game now that the series is in the bag?
That's a fair call. I think, someone like maybe Jadeja can take a break and get in Rahul Chahar, and also Deepak, who can bat a bit. So obviously you might be depleting a bit with Jadeja not being there. But you have Deepak Chahar to bat. Bhuvneshwar hasn't got a chance to bat. You can even get someone like Bhuvneshwar to take a break. So yeah, all those things can happen. And like I said, you're not going to get too many opportunities like this. So once you have it, might as well use them.
The West Indies seem to be struggling with just the starts that they get with their batting. They dropped Joel Campbell and played Sunil Narayan, who didn't quite give them the start. Would they look to change things around? Evan Lewis doesn't seem to be in the best of form in these two games too.
Well, I kind of like the batting order they had for the second game. I thought that made more sense. Rahul Pal is a very destructive batsman, but he's predominantly very destructive against the faster bowlers. So if he bats top of the order, especially if there's an early wicket, it makes a lot more sense to me. And try and avoid the spinners as much as possible. And someone like, I think the biggest thing that they need to really work on, as I've mentioned before, is the middle overs, especially against the spinners where they need to rotate strike. I think they can try out a few more players who have that ability, they think, and give them more opportunity, because that's one thing that is missing. Power hitting is not something that is missing. Bowling, again, I think they're pretty good in that department as well in this format. It's just that one very important aspect which is missing, and that's what they need to focus on, and that's where I think they can try out a few more people.
All right, they'll be happy to be back in Guyana. You think it'll be a better pitch than what we saw in Florida, at least to the West Indies liking. One player to watch out for, Deep, from both the West Indies and India ahead of this final T20I?
Well, it's difficult. Looking at thinking about what I just mentioned about changes in the side, it'll be interesting to see who plays in the third T20. if there are any changes at all. But yeah, I would like to see more of someone like Krunal Pandya, Rishabh Pant, especially Rishabh Pant. It won't be a bad idea to someone like promote Rishabh Pant or maybe promote Manish Pandey, because I just have a feeling middle order, batting in the middle order in T20 cricket is a thankless job, and you might as well give them a fair go at it and give them more overs to bat. As far as Windies are concerned, listen, I'm still going to look at Nicholas Pooran because I think he has that ability to rotate the strike, play the middle overs. He plays the spin really well, has very high percentage shots that he's got, scoring shots. I would look at Nicholas Pooran.
All right, India will be eyeing a 3-0 whitewash in the T20 as ahead of the ODIs and Tests, and the West Indies will be looking to at least keep their home crowd happy as they return to the Caribbean. The third T20I in Guyana is on Tuesday.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and leave your comments in the comment section below. Click on the bell icon for notifications.